What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne, and today we're here at Atlanta Classic Cars to look at the all-new GLE63 AMG Coupe. Now, I'm sure many people are wondering, what exactly is the GLE? Well, the GLE was formerly known as the ML, but as an effort for Mercedes-Benz to align its sedans with its SUVs, it's now known as the GLE. It comes in two forms, which would be the traditional GLE SUV, and then we have the GLE Coupe, which we'll be looking at today. This particular GLE63 AMG is the full-blown AMG variant of the GLE450 Coupe I reviewed earlier. Now let's go over some of the exterior and interior and talk about some of the key differences. The Mercedes-Benz GLE63 Coupe features all-wheel drive. It has a torque split with 40% of the power going to the front wheels and 60% of the power going to the rear. Coming down, you have 22-inch AMG cross-spoke alloy wheels with 15.4-inch brake rotors that are internally ventilated with 6-piston calipers in the front, and you have 13.6-inch brake rotors in the back with a single-piston sliding caliper. The difference between the GLE Coupe and the standard GLE SUV is the fact that you get a sloped C-pillar as opposed to an upright back on the standard GLE SUV. Coming towards the back, let's focus a little bit on the tail lamps. The tail lamps feature fiber optics and LEDs. LEDs illuminate 200 milliseconds quicker than the standard incandescent bulb. The rear of the GLE63S features a spoiler on the back to increase downforce on the rear axle. Coming down, you have an AMG exhaust system which enhances performance and brings out that characteristic sound of that V8. It also features 4 polished chrome exhaust tips. The GLE63S features active full LED headlamps. The benefit of this is the LEDs emit light closer to daylight than a bi-xenon headlamp would. Now that we talked about some of the features of the exterior of this GLE63S, let's take a quick look at the interior and see what we have. Starting with the door panel, it's covered in soft black Napa leather. You have a nice piece of wood paneling here with an aluminum door handle, your unlock and lock buttons, 14-way power adjustable seating, 3-position memory. The black Napa leather continues down here with white contrast stitching. You have power controls for your windows and power controls for your side view mirrors, and there's also storage at the bottom. Now, Mercedes-Benz didn't cut any corners when it came to designing the interior of the AMG GLE63S. Let's take a look at the dash and the center console. The top of the dash is covered in soft black Napa leather and features contrast stitching going all the way across. Here is an 8-inch display screen for your infotainment system and 2 large air conditioning vents on either side. Coming further down, you have controls for your radio, your media, navigation, and telephone, CD player, and an SD card slot. You also have 3 levels of heating, 3 levels of cooling, your hazards, your eco start-stop function, your Parktronic system, and cooling and heated seats for the passenger as well. Further down, you have your dual zone climate controls. Now, moving this wooden panel here, you have 2 cup holders, except they're not just 2 ordinary cup holders. These cup holders are heated and cooled. Here's your trackpad to control your infotainment system. You can write letters, which will input the letters you write into the navigation system instead of selecting each letter individually. You also have a control wheel here. Coming here, you have 5 different driving modes: individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, and slippery. You also have AMG suspension controls here, your electronic stability program, your manual mode, and a button to adjust the car's ride height. Coming further back on the center console, you have storage here, and in the storage you have 2 USB ports. Now let's come back to the 5 different driving modes. This car features an individual mode which will allow you to adjust the transmission, suspension, and throttle mappings to how you see fit. You also have a comfort mode which softens up the suspension and throttle mapping as well. You have a sport mode which tightens up the suspension slightly as well as the throttle mapping, and then Sport Plus mode is that much more aggressive. You also have a slippery mode for icy conditions. Let's talk a little bit about this steering wheel. Since this is an AMG model, it features a race-inspired flat bottom and also has Dynamica inserts on the sides. It has a contrast gray strip of leather here on the top, which looks really nice, and contrast stitching along the interior of the steering wheel. It has soft black leather on the top and bottom and the AMG logo, and then you have the traditional Mercedes-Benz symbol in the middle. It features 2 thick aluminum shift paddles when driving in manual mode, so the left paddle is to shift down and the right paddle is to shift up. You also have controls here for your instrument cluster and controls for your voice control. The seats of this vehicle are extremely luxurious. They are heavily bolstered. They feature black Napa leather with contrast stitching, and since this is an AMG model, you get an AMG symbol at the top of the seat. Let's take a look at the back. Now the seats in the back feature a generous amount of space for the average adult, and the rear seats are also heated, so the luxury continues to the back. The leather is soft and it also has contrast stitching. The GLE Coupe has a relatively decent amount of storage space. Let's check it out. As you can see here, there's a relatively decent amount of storage, but if this isn't enough, you can fold down the rear passenger seats. Let me give you a demonstration. To fold down the rear passenger seat, you simply pull up on the lever here and then pull down, and the seats fold nicely. And in a similar fashion, you do likewise on the other side. Pull up, fold down. Let's take a look under the hood and see what powers this GLE63S. Under the hood, you're going to find an AMG 5.5 liter bi-turbo V8 producing 577 horsepower at 5,250 RPM. It also produces 561 pound-feet of torque at a low 1,750 RPM. This motor is connected to an AMG Speed Shift 7-speed transmission, producing a 0 to 60 time of just 4.2 seconds. Let's start up the GLE63S and see how it sounds. That was a quick review of the Mercedes-Benz GLE63S Coupe. I would like to thank you for watching, and a special thank you to Atlanta Classic Cars for allowing me to come film this amazing SUV. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. The all-new Mercedes-Benz GLC300 can be had with or without the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. The 4MATIC all-wheel drive system provides a torque split of 55% in the rear and 45% in the front. This car features a 4-wheel multi-link suspension with agility control. And what agility control does is incorporate valves in each of the vehicle's shocks and can adjust the valves accordingly based on road surface.